They said they found my high school.
Did you know the shortest #1 hit in American chart history is only 1 minute and 36 seconds long? This tiny musical miracle from 1960 made its creator famous overnight. Then he practically vanished from the charts forever. In fact, all 10 songs we're about to explore followed this same strange pattern. They climbed to the top, made their creators temporarily rich, then disappeared so completely that today, most people have forgotten they ever existed. The stories behind why these hits couldn't be repeated are even more fascinating than the songs themselves. Number 1. Stay by Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs. Imagine a song so brief you could hear it twice in less than 4 minutes, but so catchy it rocketed to #1 on the Billboard charts. Stay by Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs clocked in at just 96 seconds, making it the shortest #1 hit in American chart history. Williams penned this musical miniature when he was only 15, creating a doo-wop gem that would eventually sell over 1 million copies. But in the music business of 1960, brevity wasn't always a virtue. Radio stations needed longer songs to maintain their commercial break schedule, often playing Stay back-to-back to fill airtime. This practice didn't generate additional royalties for Williams, whose paycheck suffered from the industry's length-based payment system.
There's a man in the funny papers we all know.
Number 2. Alley Oop by the Hollywood Argyles. The record industry of 1960 wasn't just shortchanging real musicians with unfair contracts. Sometimes they skipped having a band altogether. When producer Gary S. Paxton spotted an opportunity in the popularity of V.T. Hamlin's caveman comic strip character, he manufactured a hit single out of thin air. Alley Oop rocketed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, reached #3 on the R&B chart, and even crossed the Atlantic to hit #24 in the UK. But here's the catch. The Hollywood Argyles didn't actually exist until after the song was recorded. Paxton himself sang lead vocals on this novelty cash grab, assembling session musicians purely to capitalize on a pop culture trend. This business model prioritized quick profits over artist development, creating an insurmountable problem. How do you build a career when your band is just a temporary studio creation? With no actual group to tour or create follow-up material, the Hollywood Argyles couldn't leverage their chart success into anything sustainable. The fleeting nature of novelty hits meant that everyone involved was focused on generating immediate revenue, rather than investing in future potential. Session musicians received minimal compensation, while Paxton and the label counted their earnings from this calculated industry scheme. Number 3. Love You So by Ron Holden. While manufactured bands were getting rich off novelty hits, another artist was about to find success from behind actual bars. The music industry in 1960 was full of unlikely stories, but Ron Holden's might be the most remarkable. His hit, Love You So, wasn't recorded in a fancy studio. It was captured while he was serving time in a Seattle jail for a traffic violation. Talk about making the most of a bad situation. Local DJ Larry Nelson heard something special in Holden's voice and made an extraordinary investment in the unknown talent. He paid Holden's bail. Nelson then became his manager, a gamble that seemed brilliant when Love You So climbed to #7 on the charts. But success brought its own problems. Nelson's indie label, Night Owl Records, couldn't keep up with the sudden demand for the single.
On the shelf, standing by herself, never had the nerve to take.
Number 4. Let the Little Girl Dance by Billy Bland. In the unforgiving music business of 1960, chart success and career longevity often existed in completely separate universes. Just ask Billy Bland, whose catchy Let the Little Girl Dance climbed all the way to #7 on the charts before vanishing, along with Bland himself, into music history's footnotes. Oh, the culprit? The brutal financial reality of independent labels. Old Town Records simply couldn't compete with the promotional muscle of major companies. While the song was playing in jukeboxes across America, the label's empty coffers meant Bland's follow-up releases received virtually no marketing support. What's particularly striking is that while major labels regularly poached rising stars from independents, Bland received no such offers. The industry pigeonholed him as just another dance artist with limited appeal, a one-dimensional performer not worth the investment. The rapidly shifting musical landscape didn't help either. Dance crazes flared hot but burned out quickly in 1960, with public tastes evolving faster than artists could adapt. By the time Bland might have capitalized on his brief fame, the spotlight had already moved on. Number 5. Money, That's What I Want, by Barrett Strong. Just as the spotlight moved away from dance crazes, Motown Records was taking its first steps toward becoming a music empire with a single that couldn't have been more ironic. Barrett Strong's Money, That's What I Want, burst onto the charts in early 1960, reaching number 2 on the R&B charts and number 23 on the Hot 100 with its straightforward message about the universal desire for wealth. The song's pounding piano and Strong's passionate vocals made it Motown's first legitimate hit, but the financial poetry couldn't have been crueler. While Berry Gordy was building his Motown empire on the back of this cash anthem, Strong himself was becoming the poster child for music industry injustice. Not only were the royalty practices at early Motown notoriously unfavorable to artists, but something far worse happened to Strong over time. His name was mysteriously removed from the songwriting credits he initially shared with Gordy and Janie Bradford. This wasn't just a minor paperwork issue. That single change cost Strong decades of royalties as bands like the Beatles and Rolling Stones recorded their own versions of Money, each new cover adding to the fortune that Strong wouldn't see. The bitter irony was perfect. The man whose voice declared, "Money, that's what I want," became perhaps the only person associated with the song who didn't get rich from it. Number 6. You Talk Too Much, by Joe Jones. Speaking of financial ironies, Joe Jones found himself caught in a musical catch-22 that practically turned his hit song's title into a prophecy. His 1960 single, You Talk Too Much, climbed to number 3 on the Billboard charts, but behind the catchy rhythm lurked a legal nightmare that would devour nearly every penny it earned. The trouble began when both Rick Records and Roulette Records claimed ownership of the song. Rick had released the track in July 1960, but Roulette insisted they owned an earlier version. What should have been Jones's ticket to stardom instead became his financial undoing as the two labels battled it out in court. Number 7. Muleskinner Blues, by the Fendermen. Sometimes the path from a garage to the charts is surprisingly short, yet the journey to sustained success remains impossibly long. The Fendermen, Jim Sundquist and Phil Humphrey, never imagined their garage recording of Muleskinner Blues would rocket to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, yet that's exactly what happened in 1960. These two friends had no business plan, no management, and absolutely no idea what to do when their energetic twist on Jimmie Rodgers' classic suddenly sold 1 million copies. Soma Records, the small Minneapolis label that signed them after hearing their amateur recording, simply didn't have the resources or experience to develop two guitarists with zero industry connections. When pressured to capitalize on their sudden fame, the Fendermen rushed out an album filled with hastily recorded covers. With no original material to sustain interest and no business infrastructure to guide them, their distinctive guitar riffs and vocal style quickly faded from radio stations nationwide.
Am I still your true love? What was it you were looking for?
Number 8. Teen Angel, by Mark Dinning. Success and controversy often make strange bedfellows in the music industry. Mark Dinning learned this painful lesson when his 1960 hit, Teen Angel, became simultaneously too successful and too taboo to build a career upon. Unlike previous chart toppers that simply lacked promotion or business savvy, Dinning's hit faced active resistance. The song's storyline about a teenager dying in a car accident was considered so disturbing that radio stations across America implemented a widespread blacklist. This forced Dinning's label to pursue costly alternative promotion strategies just to get the song heard. Even as Teen Angel climbed to number 1 despite these obstacles, the controversy created deeper financial problems. Television producers avoided booking the death song performer, and family venues canceled performances, eliminating crucial revenue streams that artists relied on in 1960.
Let's pretend that we're together.
Number 9. He'll Have to Stay by John Black. In the music industry of 1960, a curious phenomenon was quietly reshaping careers and bank accounts. When a song climbed the charts, it didn't just inspire fans, it sparked a flurry of answer records designed to ride the coattails of established hits. Gene Black's He'll Have to Stay represented this trend perfectly, offering the woman's perspective to Jim Reeves's heartbreak ballad, He'll Have to Go. While Black's response reached an impressive number 4 on the charts, this success masked an uncomfortable truth about answer songs. Record companies rushed these tracks into production with minimal investment, viewing them as quick cash grabs rather than career-building opportunities. The artists behind these answers were often treated as disposable commodities.
From the day I can hear the clock passing.
Number 10. Image of a Girl by the Safaris. The unfair compensation structure of 1960 created financial traps of all kinds. For the Safaris, creating the perfect musical snapshot led to an imperfect financial reality. Their hit, Image of a Girl, became a doo-wop classic, yet revealed how even genuine chart success could become a financial dead end. The Safaris' temporary collaboration with the Phantoms Band created a perfect sound, but an imperfect business model. With profits divided between band members, session players, producer Johnny Otis, and Eldo Records, everyone got smaller slices of an already modest pie. The lack of strong management further crippled their earning potential. They simply didn't have the business savvy to navigate an industry designed to extract maximum value from artists.